Good afternoon and welcome to FlossTube number 22. My name's Christine. I am CMD586 on Instagram if you're on Instagram. And today's September 3rd. It's Labor Day. It's the day before my birthday. And it was the morning of the Bendy Stitchy's live sale for her walk. Her Alzheimer's walk, and this video, I almost didn't think this video was going to happen because I had made sure I was ready for the live sale, you know, up and showered and told my husband, leave me alone, I'm just going to stare at my phone for a while. But I thought her sale was going to take like an hour and it would be done and it would be this quick thing. I said, I'm going to watch her sale and then I'm going to do my video, and her sale went on for 3.5 hours. But anyway, so for a minute there I thought that like I might not do this video at all. I actually bowed out towards the end of the sale because I'd spent enough money, and I'll probably spend more money because I'm under the impression that she's gonna have some things to put up on her Instagram to sell as well, and she'll put those up next week and I'll be paying attention, and so she'll probably get a good chunk of more money of my money. Possibly. But yeah, it was fun. She had a huge pile of stuff, a lot of it donated, and which is wonderful, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I got ended up getting 2 things. I said me please and a bunch of stuff, but the way it works is it's super fast and people are responding really fast, and you know, no matter how fast you are, you're not always going to be the first one whose comment shows up. So I got one thing that I was really slow about. It took me several seconds to really realize what it was and how much I liked it, and but apparently nobody else wanted it. so I got one thing that you know, only I thought was awesome, but I'm happy with that. And then I got another thing that I think I just got really lucky on, because I think there were quite a lot of people who said me please, and I just got lucky. But anyway, once I got those couple of things under my belt, I decided I could stop watching. leave it to the rest of the audience to spend their money. So yeah, so that's how I spent my morning. That was fun, and it was just good timing for me because you know, it's Labor Day, so it's a holiday for a lot of people, but I work in retail and I wouldn't have today off, except I always have Mondays off. I work Tuesday through Saturday, so because it's retail and I have a variety of positions, but part of my job is I'm a toy buyer, and being in the store when most of the toys are sold, which is on Saturdays for like birthday parties and stuff like that, is valuable for me and for the store. So I work Tuesday through Saturday, and I always have Mondays off. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to participate. But if you missed it and you're watching this video in time, I believe she was not going to get through everything that she had piled up for the live sale, and what she didn't get through was going to go onto the Bendy Stitchy D-stash, and she hasn't posted it yet, at least as of me filming this video, but she was going to put it on there in this coming week. So if you don't follow Bendy Stitchy D-stash on Instagram, it's separate from the regular Michelle Bendy or whatever she is on there. It's separate from that, so you should follow that if you need some help spending your money towards good causes. So anyway, so that was my morning. So I wanted to give some shout outs and some thank yous. I guess I'll start with the thank yous. I didn't write these down, so I hope I don't forget anybody. Shoot. Well, that's a shout out. Thank you to Mitch Stitch, Michelle in Australia. She shouted me out on one of her most recent videos, and It was a real treat. I like Michelle. I met her at StitchCon in Cincinnati, and we didn't spend a whole lot of time together. But she's a funny lady, and I think we liked each other quite a little bit. And I enjoy watching her videos, and apparently she enjoys watching mine. And she shouted me out. So thank you, Michelle. I like you too. and also. Andrea at iHeart CrossStitch. She shouted me out recently, and God, I love her videos. And she had said something that I didn't even really notice, but it's true. She said that although we're a lot alike, we don't seem to really have the same stitching style. I didn't even really notice that. I guess it is true. She likes a few of the things that I'm doing. I like a few of the things that she's doing. But we don't, there's not a whole lot of overlap in the things that we like to stitch, but we seem to have quite a lot in common. We both have a teenage son. We're right around the same age, and I think we have a lot of the same like values and a similar sense of humor. So, but she shouted me out recently, and in her latest video, she doesn't make videos often enough. I make videos just a little bit more often than she does, and but she's one where I see that she's got a new video, and I go watch her immediately. I just adore her, and she's such a kind lady. And actually, she on her latest video, she was talking about a specific pattern that is about kindness, and I forget what it's called. Just go watch her video. But I wasn't interested in the pattern itself, but now I kind of am, just because I really like the saying on it. So anyway, go watch Andrea if you're not already, because she's really great. So now on to oh, and a couple, both her and Michelle have both said I'm funny. I don't know if they just said that in their shout outs, but they've mentioned that in their comments to me and stuff like that. And I have to say, I really love that because I think I have a really great sense of humor, and I think I'm funny, and I get told that I'm funny. Like, my coworkers laugh at me all the time. I mean, I don't think they're laughing at me. I think they're laughing with me, but my coworkers and, like customers and stuff I interact with at work and stuff like that, just seem to think I'm funny, but in my house, like, I'm famous for not having a sense of humor. My husband and son, don't seem to think I'm that funny. My husband never laughs at me. He never laughs at my jokes, and I'll be like, I'm funny. And he just doesn't laugh at me. So I always get a kick out of somebody else telling me that I'm funny, and I always point it out to him. See, you don't know what's good. Anyway, okay. So now, enough of that. Shout outs. Mischievous Stitches. I've watched her off and on, but somebody, I could be wrong, but I feel like it was Christine at Stitch All the Things. But I might be wrong. That's all right. I love Christine at Stitch All the Things too. Whether she's the one who pointed me to Mischievous Stitches particular video or not. But recently, Mischievous Stitches Lori did a tutorial on the pin stitch. Now, I've been using the pin stitch off and on for quite some time, and I've been using Vanna's tutorial for the diagonal pin stitch, and this is similar to that. It starts off with the diagonal pin stitch, just like Vanna shows you how to do, but in addition, it shows you how to start it and end it on the front of your fabric. And since I watched her video, thanks to whoever said go watch her video, which may or may not have been Christine at Stitch All the Things, I have been like using it a whole lot more, and it's awesome. It's a really, yeah, if you haven't watched that yet and you're at all interested in, like, you know, trying a different technique, slightly different technique, but some, you know, in cross stitch land, a very slight change can sometimes make a huge difference. You should go check out Mischievous Stitch's pin stitch tutorial. I think if you look back in her videos, it's not that far back, but it's a couple videos back at least. If you look back in her videos, you can see in her description which video it is. Anyway, a real game changer. I've been using that quite a lot since she showed it to us. So Mischievous Stitches. Also, another person I met at StitchCon, Cross-Stitching Leopard, real nice guy that did attend StitchCon in Cincinnati. He and I didn't interact very much at all, but he was one of those who, what little I did interact with him, it was towards the very end of StitchCon when I finally talked to him at all, and I just I feel like I missed out, like it would have been. I really liked him a lot, and wished that I had met and spoke with him a little bit earlier and spent a little bit of extra time with him. But you know, that's the way StitchCon was. You know, there's not enough time to talk to everybody as much as you would like to. But really a lovely person, a fun guy, and he is now doing FlossTube videos. So go check him out. He's also on Instagram, so you can find him there too. But go check out his FlossTube videos. He may have done more than one. I've only seen the first one, regardless. But go check him out. Welcome him. And then this morning, and I haven't even finished watching it, but this morning, as I was getting ready to do this video and making my notes, and after I had spent some money on with Bendy Stitchy, I discovered Kindred Stitcher has a whip parade up. And I watched a good chunk of it. Yeah. Go check out Kindred Stitcher's whip parade. she's awesome. And you know, sometimes I love a whip parade, and sometimes I've been known to just like type in a search of like FlossTube and whip parade, and just watch those videos when I'm feeling in the need to be enabled, because I don't have enough stuff, obviously. But hers is great so far, even though I'm only about halfway through it. So what I wanted to say there is, if anybody does a whip parade, make sure you do put that in your title, because I think that draws us, you know, it draws an extra audience to watch that video if you put whip parade in the title. It draws me in any case, so please put whip parade in your title and I will come watch if I haven't yet. Okay, so those are all my shout outs. Stuff I got. Well, I did get kind of a lot of stuff, but anyway, I got several things. I'm on a little bit of a spending spree, though. I'm not overspending, but not only was there Bendy Stitchy D-Stash this morning, but I went on a hunt for some more of those Jane Austen Stitching Parlor patterns, and I found one to buy, so that's on its way. And I went on eBay. I've been going on eBay lately, and here's a trick. If you just want to buy something on eBay cross stitch related and you're not exactly sure what, but you want to get a good deal, if you haven't done this before, just search the cross stitch thing and sort by ending soonest, and look for stuff that's about to end that nobody has noticed, because you can get some good deals that way. I've got a couple of things coming that basically I put in minimum bids on, and got pretty good deals on. So anyway, so I've got some stuff coming from eBay, and yeah. Oh, and I decided that I should, and been thinking about this for a while, but Bendy Stitchy kind of nudged me on it. I decided I should. I mean, I'm getting a lot of stuff. I've got enough stuff that's not going to really stop because more patterns come out. I want to do stuff all the time. I'm not going to live long enough to stitch all the things I want to stitch. So it's not going to really stop, but I realized that I could definitely afford to shell out some of my stitching budget to having things professionally finished. So I contacted Vanna and the Twist Stitcher, and I read all of her information, and I asked her if I could send her some things to finish, and I mailed her off a couple of items to have finished for me. I'm very excited about that. But it's going to be like forever and a day before I get them back, because this is her super busy season, and then so she'll go all the way through Christmas, and then after Christmas she takes a break for a while, and then she starts working on whatever is in line to finish at post Christmas break, and I have no idea when she'll get to mine. Probably sometime in the spring would be my guess, but I don't care. I've sent them off to her. They're safe in her hands, and someday I will get them back, and I'm sure I will be thrilled. And so yeah, I've decided I'm gonna start shelling out a little bit of money here and there to having things finished, because I've got a lot of stuff that's just sitting around, and I'm not going to be doing any major framing anytime soon, whether it's on my own or, which, I don't do much framing on my own, but I've framed a few like small things. I'm not going to be doing much framing because, sometime in the next couple of years, we're probably going to be moving out of here, and moving with big heavy frames is just not very practical. So but soft finishing, I could have done. It's less expensive and lighter weight, and better than having the stuff just like sitting in a like a plastic case somewhere, finished stitching, but not made into something that I can actually display. So I've decided to start kind of gradually shelling out money on having other people finish some things for me. So so that's what I've done. I've sent a couple of things to Vanna, and when I get those back, I'm sure I'm going to be happy with them. I just told her to do whatever she wanted with them, and I have all the faith in the world that I'm going to love whatever she decides to do. So, and be happy to pay whatever she charges me for it. And that it'll be wonderful. And then I will send her off some more. Okay, so stuff I got. I was going to say stuff I got. So I got the next batch of 3L threads. One of them is in a baggie because I've started using it in something. It is espresso bean. These are the gassed 10 yards gains. Espresso bean. This I am using as a substitute for 3371 in a project. This is a great substitution for, sorry, it's all wadded up. It's because I'm putting in this little, it's not a Darris bag, some other brand, but I'm putting in this little bag. The usual Darris bags I use aren't quite long enough to fit the whole like card for gas thread, so I found these that are just slightly longer, and I'm trying them out for some of the fancy flosses that won't fit in my usual bag. Anyway, this is a great substitute for 3371 espresso bean. Okay, the rest of the flosses that we got. Forest Glade, Fisherman's Wharf, French Lilac, Cherry Wine. Look at that. If y'all know by now, I pretty much love all the Gentle Arts reds. Endive, I feel like I showed you that one already. I hope I'm not not showing you something I showed you in my last video. I could swear I showed you on Devo already, but whatever. Okay, fragrant cloves. Evergreen. It's kind of an odd name for that. To me, that doesn't look like I would think evergreen would. But the names don't matter. Faded rose. Yeah, I'm not a fan of pinks in general, but I kind of like this one. The grays is kind of an antique-y looking rose. Flax. I like that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's all of them. Hopefully. That Endive gives me pause. Makes me think I showed it to you before. But that's okay. Whatever. And then, okay, I was watching Pam and Steph. And people have been talking about how Kathy Barrick put a good chunk of patterns, retired a good chunk of patterns and put them on 50% off on her Etsy shop. And I've been kind of ignoring it because I try not to jump on this bandwagon of, oh, something is being retired or going out of print and now I gotta have it, because there's always more I want to do. And so I have to have some self-control, right? I can't buy everything just because it's out of print. Right? I can't. Are we sure? But Steph showed this pattern, and it just really spoke to me, and I had to have it. And since then, several people have said they had to have it too and went and got it. I don't know if she's probably sold out now, but it's called Time Enough, and it is actually my first Kathy Barrick. This is a picture of it. It is stitched on, the model is stitched on gingerbread, which is probably what I will use. That's a really great color for that. But I have some other things that would work too, so I might try to stitch it on something I already have. Anyway, it says on it, there is time enough, but none to spare, so use it wisely and with good care. And this is just, I mean, I think probably a lot of stitchers can relate to this because we're all busy people. We're never bored. We've always got, you know, more to do than we can possibly do in our lifetime. But this is something that really, like, my husband and I both are these kind of people. We're very compatible because we love each other and we want to spend a lot of time together, but at the same time, we're happy to just be in the same room together because I have more than enough of my own interests to fill my time, and I need that time to be able to do that stuff, and he's exactly the same. So he has a spot and I have a spot, and we are in each other's physical presence quite a lot, but we are very often not doing anything together. We're just doing our own thing in the same space. And but this is something that both of he and I believe, you know, that that we're never going to be bored ever, and we don't have, there's a finite amount of time and energy in our life, and we have to make careful choices about how we spend it. And so, yeah, I really love this. I love it. So there's that. Oh, and then I did get my DMC. Okay, so I wanted to say, just in case anybody else does this, and it may be because I'm in Alaska, but I wasn't thrilled with DMC. I told you I was going to order a whole set of their flosses, and I was hoping they would be here before my birthday. They took about 3 weeks to get to me, which would be fine, except that it took over a week longer than they said it would take. And the tracking ended on it, and it was supposed to be here on the 22nd, and I contacted them and I said, you know, I'm just concerned because I think that this stuff is lost. And anyway, I wasn't real thrilled with their customer service or their response to me, and they were kind of curt, and they did show me, because what they'd done is they shipped it through UPS, and then UPS does this thing called SurePost where they only want to ship it part of the way. I think this probably happens a lot in places like Alaska. It may not happen so much elsewhere. Maybe some of the more rural places or whatever. Anyway, UPS will transfer it to the post office, And then, so the original tracking I got said it would arrive on the 22nd, but that wasn't the truth. That was the date it was going to be transferred to the post office. But I didn't know that. So I was expecting it to arrive on the 22nd, and it didn't. And then the tracking ended there. And so when I contacted DMC, they proved to me that it wasn't lost. You know, they showed me how it got transferred to the post office and stuff like that. So, you know, like that was okay because it wasn't lost. But I wasn't real happy with their verbal response to me. And I questioned them further. I said, well, you know, why would you tell me this is going to, you know, they said, oh, it'll be here by September 4th. Like a whole, like almost full 2 weeks after the original date that I was expecting it to get to me. And so, you know, I pushed them a little for an explanation. And the only thing I got from them was, we have no control over the UPS and the post office. Which, okay, I'm in customer service, and I don't care if that's a fact or not, because that may very, very well be a fact. Sometimes when things happen at my work and we're not able to fulfill orders as quickly as we hope through customers and stuff like that, I don't ever give a response to a customer that says, I have no control over it. Even if that's the upshot of what I'm saying, you don't respond to a customer like that. You know... Oh, not our problem. We don't have any control over it. You don't respond that way. So I wasn't real happy. I did get my stuff, and I got it a couple of days ago. I got it before my birthday, which I was happy about it. You know, it was actually supposed to arrive on my birthday with the new tracking, but you know, the post office, they were generous in their estimate, and it arrived early, and so, you know. Not unhappy with UPS and not unhappy with the post office, but not real thrilled with how DMC, just their customer service. I didn't think, you know, not terribly unthrilled with the results, but didn't think that the way they responded to me was very polite or considerate at all. And I filled out a little survey telling them so, but didn't hear anything back after that. So. Anyway, and I don't expect to, but, you know, told them what I thought. Okay, so, oh yeah, so I got my DMC, and mine is about 4 skeins, because I've, you know, taken some skeins out to work with immediately. This is what a full set of DMC looks like, and, I counted it, but I have not organized it yet, and I have not gone through to make sure each and every color is there. However, it's supposed to be 489 skeins, and I got 491 skeins, so I'm good. You know, that probably means all of them are there, plus a couple of duplicates. And I wasn't gonna spend 2 hours making sure each and every number was there. So it's all there. It's beautiful. I'm happy with it. DMC is going up again, so it might not be too late to do something like this, because the prices are going up. I think I heard the prices are going up on the 10th. So if you've been hemming and hawing about maybe doing something like that, now might be a good time. If you can squeak it in before the 10th. Also, if you're not in Alaska, if you're in the lower 48, it'll probably ship to you a little faster than it did to me. So the final thing that I've actually got in my hands, because a lot of the stuff I've just still got coming. The final thing I actually got in my hands is Jane Netley Mayhew's CrossStitch Jungle. Now, I was under the mistaken impression that there wasn't a Jane Netley Mayhew book in print in the United States anymore. And I stumbled upon this at one of the distributors I worked through at my work, and I was like, holy crap, I'm getting that. And I will do a flip through of this towards the end of this video. So if you're, you know, order it from your local bookstore. They probably won't have it on hand, but they'll get it for you, or an LNS or whatever. But support your local bookstore if you can, because they can probably order it for you. Since I was able to order it, they can probably order it for you. I will do a flip through near the end of the video on that. Okay, so that is all the stuff I got. Stuff I worked on. I worked on 7 things, which is a lot for me in 3 weeks. I jumped around a little bit. I started 3 things, but I finished 2 things. Again, I've gotten myself turned around as far as order of stuff. And I did kind of like a back and forth thing. I worked on something, then I came back to it. And so I'm not really sure what the proper order of this is, but I am just going to start. So let's see. I'll start with one of my finishes. So last time I talked about having separated out some of my whips that were really, really close to a finish and wanting to get some of those done. And I'm really happy to say I got one of those done these last 3 weeks. And it is Lizzie Kate's Promise Me. And I am also... I don't have... Oh, it's here. In my bag here, I've got the pattern, but I don't have... Here it is. I had the pattern stuck in there, but not the finished product. I'm like, where the heck did I put it? Lizzie Kate's Promise Me. I did this on the called for fabric, but on 32 count lamb's wool. But I did it 1/1 to make it itty bitty. I made one tiny change. I did not put the little dots at the bottom of the pattern because they seemed a little pointless to me. So I left those out. I'm just not sure why those are there. And I didn't think they were necessary at all. So I left those out and just put the words. If I decide at some point to send this to my mother, I am going to put on the bottom that it's a quote from A.A. Milne, that it's Christopher Robin to Winnie the Pooh, something to that effect. It's not necessary for me to put that on there because I know that, but if I decide to send this to my mother, I will be doing that. But for now, I'm calling this finished. So, and I will be doing a giveaway, a Pass the Stash on this pattern at the end of the video. So I will mention that at the very end of the video too. So stay tuned for that. So I finished that. It took me a couple of days to get it done, and I'm really happy I did because it was a shame to just have it so close to being done. I think that was my 10th finish for the year. So it's okay. I'll pick that up later. Then I told you I was going to be doing something for Carla and Leo's Halloween Stitch Along on Facebook, which is still going on. You can still participate in it. This may or may not be the last thing I do for that Stitch Along because there's several patterns that you can purchase to use as part of that Stitch Along. But this was my favorite, so it may be the only one I did. Carla and Leo's Halloween Stitch Along on Facebook. There's a group. Great people. My friend Carla Eldridge, who used to live here and now lives in Colorado. And anyway, this is the one I chose to do, was by Lucky Star Stitches on Etsy. And I don't think it actually has a name on her Etsy shop. It says something like Halloween pattern or whether it's something generic, but I call it Spooks and Spells because that's what it says. And here is my finish. The plan is to put it in hoop. I did this on 28 count Monaco, 3 strands over 2, which is wonderful, but I will never do it again. It looks great. The coverage is fantastic. Monaco is just, it's soft, but it's thick, and pushing 3 strands through it, it looks great. It looks wonderful, but it was more labor intensive than I wanted to be. I actually had some like repetitive strain. First my fingers started hurting, then I had some like shoulder and arm pain, like some repetitive strain pain from doing this. So it's definitely not something I would do on a regular basis. I don't think I'll plan to do that again. But for this short of a project, by the time I realized how problematic it was for me, I wasn't going to give up on it. So I went ahead and did that, finished it. Probably would have only taken me about 4 days, less, maybe three days, except it took me 6 because once it started really hurting, I decided to break it up and not like really make myself sorry by finishing it. So that is my 11th finish for the year. Other things I worked on. I did some more work on Gracious Era. Here's a picture of the finished project, what it's going to look like finished. Here's a picture of when you last saw it. And here I am now. It's looking so good. I love this one, and I really enjoy working on it. It's just fun. It took me a while to get the hang of doing half stitches. I used to make a lot of mistakes with half stitches, but now that I've been getting used to some of these like dimensions kits with a lot of half stitching in them, and like the realist kits and stuff that have that too, I've gotten the hang of doing half stitching, and I can truly do it fast now because I don't keep making mistakes over and over again. So there is that. Next, oh yeah, I am still working away on my U.S. presidents. I'm really hoping to have a big finish on this one this year. I think I might, unless I burn out on it. No commitment. Oh, if you care about the fact that I'm not stitching Donald Trump, go to video number 1 to minute 36 for a discussion on that. Most of you are probably well aware of that already, unless you're brand spanking new to my channel. So this is where I was before. And this is where I am now. So I'm getting there. And I also wanted to, there's something on the pattern. Let me show you another picture of a portion of the pattern. As you can see on this, I have chosen to replace the cross-stitched hearts with rose hearts on this pattern. And I love them. I think they're beautiful, but I think they're a little lonely being the only specialty stitches. Down the sides in these spots, what I showed you on that bit of the pattern I showed you, there's more red cross-stitched areas, and I want to find a specialty stitch that'll look right to replace those with as well. So just because I feel like just those couple of hearts is just not, too lonely. If I'm going to have some specialty stitches, I feel like I need more specialty stitches to make it look, for continuity. So if anybody has any specific ideas, names of a stitch they can think of that will fit in those spots, it doesn't even necessarily have to be, those look kind of pinwheely in the pattern. That doesn't even necessarily have to look exactly like that. Just something that would fit in that area and look nice. Anyway, if you have any ideas, let me know, because I am going to find a specialty stitch to put in those spots. So yeah, I'm loving this one. Really enjoying working on that one a lot. And that's one that is benefiting now newly from Mischievous Stitches her front, start, and end pin stitch thing. I've been using that extensively now that I got back to this, and I'm really happy about it. Let's see. Next, I worked on 8 things. Yeah, I worked on 8 things. Ooh, I was kind of not very monogamous this time around. I feel like I was, but I guess I wasn't. Okay, so another thing I worked on was Wicked Christmas. Here is a picture of what it will look like when it's finished. A very bad picture. It's a beautiful design though. And, oh, I'm doing that Presidents on 40 count birch, 1/1 on, not 1/1, 1/2 on 40 count birch. And here is a picture of what it looked like last time you saw it. I did get a good chunk of done. There's still a lot done. These houses in this design, these are killer. These houses are just, they're easy, but there's a lot of stitching involved in these houses. And I got down into the first house there, and it's beautiful. I love the way it looks. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of hours put in on those houses. This is also 40 count birch. It's a really good parchment-y very, very light brownish or light tan neutral. That's good, I think, for a lot of things. And you know, it's not a hand dyed, so it's like relatively inexpensive and lets the the pattern shine. Okay, so there is that. Then I also didn't work very much on it, but I did also work on Frederick the Literate. I don't have a picture of him, and I don't want to insert it. I do have a picture, it's just not in this room. I think most of you know what this looks like. Frederick the Literate. Anyway, here's a picture of when last you saw it. What I'm not showing you is a picture of the finished project, because I just keep leaving it out in the living room. And here it is now. I didn't work on it that much, but I did get basically this bird done and some filling in on the book, and I got in some like miscellaneous stitches around some of the other areas. But I did spend some time with him. He's a cutie pie. I like him. I'm doing him not on most of my kits. If you're new at all to me, I don't do them generally on the called for fabric. So like the Gracious Era is done on Ariel, and this one is just done on black Jobalon instead of the 14 count. I think it was 14 count Ada that came with the kit. I just really like to replace the fabric. And okay, then 2 more starts. I had the one start that I finished, the Spooks and Spells, and now I've got 2 more starts. So I stumbled upon a Lakeside Needlecraft Sal on I Love Black Work, and I just happened upon this Lakeside Needlecraft Sal that has not all been released. It's about 50% released at this point, but enough of it has been released that I know I like it. And I told you that I needed something to put on my beautiful deep pink fabric, and I stumbled upon this Lakeside Needlecraft Black Work Sal, and I will show you a picture of what that Sal looks like so far. And I decided that, you know, and it doesn't call for using black, it calls for some other color, but you know, whatever, I can use black. So I'm doing mine in 310. Not sure about the colors that I'm going to use in the center. I don't think I'm going to use those colors because I don't think the pink will go as well with those colors that are the non-black work part you can see in the center. But I am, and I've forgotten what this thing is called. Hopefully you saw it on the screen there. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I'd wanted to do black on this, and I just realized, well, black work, of course, this will fit. As soon as I stumbled across this pattern, I thought, oh, that'll work on the pink fabric. But I'm going to have to probably choose different colors for the center motif that is not black work. Just because I think that won't quite go quite as good on pink as it could. But I got started on it, and I only did like 1 evening's work, so I didn't do much, but I did get a little start on it, and look, that's going to be gorgeous. I'm just using 310. I have quite a few black-ish specialty fibers, but I just decided to use 310 on this. So, because it might call for too much, I wouldn't want to have to buy a second skein of like carriage black or cast iron or something. So, so I'm just using 310 on this because I have a whole comb. Okay, so there was that. And then what I was going to start tomorrow on my birthday, but I decided to start last night instead, is Dreaming of Sunflowers by Rosewood Manor. I bought this from Keepsakes, and I'm doing it in part DMC and partly in threads, Trisha, 3L threads, the gas threads that she sends me. I should put that one back. That's why the espresso bean was opened and partly used, because I am using it in this project. I'm using about 1/3 gas threads and the rest DMC, and I just used like an online chart, conversion chart, to figure out which ones I had that would work. So there it is. I've got my first word sunflowers. This is about 5 hours worth of work. It's beautiful. The fabric I'm using isn't white. It is Stormy. I bought it at Keepstakes. 32 count Stormy Clouds. It says Weigert. I thought it was Picture This Plus. It's not Picture This Plus. Because it's one of those that has the dyeing on the only one side. The other side is not dyed. And I looked it up, and you can get this, the 32 count Stormy Clouds. They don't carry it at 123 stitch. They have Stormy Cloud, I think Lugana or something, but they don't have the 32 count. And this is Belfast. It's not an even weave. You know what I mean. This is Belfast. It's linen. It's 32 count, and it's it just says Weigert. I was able to find it because I know I'm going to want to use this again. Like, I feel like this fabric would be good for almost anything that calls for a white fabric. It's just a little bit more interesting than white. And so I think I will want to use this a lot. Stony, the only place I found it, and actually I found it for a really good price. I felt like it was a mistake how low the price was. I won't say what it was, but if you like this fabric, Stony Creek, the website, they list this. They list this on their website. It's Stormy Clouds, 32 count Belfast, by Swagger, and I think it's awesome. It might just be my new white. It's a little too expensive to use for everything that calls for white, but if you've got something that really needs white, but you really want something that's just a little more interesting, this is your piece, I think. It might be. It's really good. Okay, so that is all of the stuff I worked on. So now I'm going to do the flip through, and then I'm going to do the drawing. So if you're not interested in the flip through, but you are interested in the drawing, just, scroll forward a little bit. So this is Jane Netley Mayhew's Jungle, 20 breathtaking designs. And these are great designs. I've never done a Jane Netley Mayhew, but there's quite a few people who have and who've been showing them and talking about them. Springs to mind is Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And I know there are others, but Jessie Marie has talked a fair amount about Jane Netley Mayhew. And one of the things I didn't realize until I got this book was that although her patterns are very detailed and almost pretty realistic looking depictions of animals, she uses hardly any backstitch. So not that I don't dislike backstitch, but I'm just surprised by how little backstitch there is in her patterns, and yet they still look very realistic. Probably there's a fair amount of confetti instead of backstitch to give that detail. So, okay, I'm going to do a flip through. I'm flipping through. I'm not showing you, huh? Okay. There's some, in this book, I believe that there is a picture for every pattern, so we will be able to see, unlike some books where they just show you a lot of patterns and you can't show that. In this book, I think we'll be able to see everything. I love that one. Love that one. I think there's another picture of it in here because that's like the intro picture. There's 20 designs. And there's some, talk, like an introduction by Jane Netley Mayhew. Some stuff about finishing ideas. How to take, pieces from the pattern and do them a little bit different. Suggestions about working on different fabric counts, etc. More little cameos. Okay, and then the first design is a tiger, and she gives you a page of information on it, which I haven't read any of it, but it tells you all the stuff you need, plus it gives you some, like, you know, like the paragraph is about tigers, and the destruction of their habitat, etc. And then, okay, now I'm gonna have to try to cover this up a little bit. I'm gonna use my Rosewood Manor pattern to cover up what I don't want you to see. There's the tiger. What he'll look like finished. He looks quite ferocious. He's not one I do, but he is beautiful. All the patterns in here are beautiful. About half of them I would consider doing. Okay, the next one is about the hyacinth macaw. Again, there's a page of information on it, and that's the one I already showed you. It's that one. That one is high on my list to do. I love blues, and I don't like birds, not dislike, but I'm not, like, I don't really have a thing for birds in general, but I have a thing for big birds. I owned a cockatiel when I was young. I owned parakeets, but they didn't really fascinate me. But the bigger birds, and then like things like ravens. There's a few isolated birds that really do something for me, and those I would do. But I like the parrots and stuff like that. The really smart birds. So the next one is a squirrel monkey. Squirrel monkeys. These are quite cute. I probably won't do them though. But they're really cute. There's an iguana. I like the face on that iguana. I would consider doing him. This elephant. I don't love this elephant pattern because although I know she has some elephant patterns that I would really like, I don't love the insertion of the people riding the elephants. I'd rather just do an elephant or elephants by itself. I think is it Jessie Marie who did some elephants or is doing some elephants. Tree frogs. Now this one doesn't actually show the whole design, but you get an idea. But I can tell by looking at the pattern that it extends out a little bit more than that design shows. That one's neat. I would probably do that one. That might make a good pillow. It's solid stitching, and tree frogs are awesome. They're so colorful and awesome. Here's an ocelot. Probably wouldn't do him either. But he is cute. He almost has a house cat look to him, that face. You can kind of see in that face, you know, much more reminiscent of what our domestic cats look like in the face. Toucan, and I probably would do this toucan. I really like, I think those are grapefruits. I really like the toucan with the fruit. Are those grapefruits? I don't know if they're grapefruits, or I wonder if her little paragraph says fruit fits the bill. Okay, I don't think it says exactly what, but that's okay. They look like grapefruits to me. A tapir. I probably won't do these, but that's cute. I just don't know much about the tapir. They're not special to me in any way. This one I really want to do, the orangutan and baby. I mean, you know, that's just the expressions on their faces. That is just so beautiful. Rhinoceros. I probably wouldn't do this one. I do like rhinos, but this pattern I think is not as good as the rest of hers. That's the finished product. And it's a little too pixelated for me. Maybe it's just a bad picture, but I just don't, that one doesn't excite me. This one's kind of neat, but I probably won't do this one either. It's a bird of paradise, I think. Bird of paradise, yes. That's neat. I won't do that one, but it is neat. The boa. And this one I think kind of loses something too. I think it's too jumbled up. The snake is too jumbled up and it just doesn't quite, it's kind of hard to see what it is. Although, actually, looking at it on the screen here, it looks more obvious than it did to me when I was looking at it. When I look at it, I think you just have to get far enough away. When I look at it, it kind of is hard to tell that it's a snake except for that head sticking out. The jaguar, I like this one because of the water he's in. The blue water surrounding him. That's neat. Look at that beautiful face. This one is very similar to the tree frogs, only it's butterflies. This also would make a good pillow. And same deal, I think there's something missing in this picture that is in the pattern. But you get the idea. That's really pretty. The butterflies and the tree frogs, those would make a good pair of pillows. I don't know if I'll do this scarlet macaw. I wish that it was not just the head of the scarlet macaw, because the scarlet macaw is an incredibly beautiful bird and that face is gorgeous. I might do him, but I just think if I was going to do a scarlet macaw, I'd want to do one that showed the whole body, like the hyacinth ones shows the whole bodies. And chameleon. There he is. Sloth. Everybody likes a sloth now. And I would consider doing this one. The sloths are charming. This peacock is beautiful. I like peacocks. There's a lot of peacock patterns out there, so I don't know that this is the one I would choose to do, but it is very beautiful and realistic looking. Amazonian tribesman. I might do this one. This one is really neat. Most of hers don't feature people prominently. But this one does, and he's really neat. And I think that's it. There's, instructions about how to cross stitch and stuff like that. So, and that is it. That is J. Netley Mayhew's Cross Stitch Jungle. And then I'm going to do a drawing for the, I'm not going to do the drawing. Enter my drawing if you wish for the Lizzie Kate Promise Me. It'll just be the pattern. And I don't know. I didn't think of anything clever. So, why don't you tell me, since it is a quote from A.A. Milne, why don't you tell me who your favorite children's author is? Feels sort of unfair to ask this question, because if you asked me who my favorite children's author was, I'm not sure I could tell you because I have a dozen of them. Mention something about a children's author that you like, that's your favorite or whatever, and I will enter you into the drawing for the Lizzie Kate pattern. I will plan to do another FlossTube video hopefully in 2 weeks. So today's the 3rd. Let's call the deadline for this, because I'll probably be doing that on the 17th. Let's call the deadline for the drawing the 16th, and I'll put your name in a cup, and you'll get a chance to win that Lizzie Kate pattern. Don't say pass a stash or giveaway or free or any of that. Just tell me something about a children's author, and I'll know you mean to enter. And be 18 or over. You can be anywhere in the world. I'm happy to send it to anyone. And it's just the pattern. So that's it for me. Stay tuned for my husband. Don't put a hit out on him. I promise you no actual anything of value was harmed in the following video. Enjoy, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
So Christine is at her Sunday board game club. She told me about floss tosses. And I thought, she's got this box of DMC floss. I bet I could soup it up a bit. So, here goes. Let's see if I can toss some floss. I've placed the cloth over here, and I've measured out what would be like horseshoe distance, but I've halved it to 20 feet from 40 feet because I figured that these guys really aren't going to fly that well. So I'm going to stand over here and I'm going to throw these at the cloth and see how many I get on there. I got to do warm-ups, you know, get everything kind of limbered up for the tossing. Ugh. Get your sleeves out of the way. Okay. Here we go. Ooh, I wonder how late Joanne's is open. Maddie! I wonder how late the vet's open. Well, at least I don't have to go to the vet. This is hard. Crap. If anybody ever tells you that floss tosses are like easy, no, they're not. They're not easy. You would think with this many floss that one would hit the pattern. No, not even close. I got one! Success! Yay! Look, let's see. Okay. There it is. But does it go with the cloth? I don't know. Looks okay to me. Successful floss toss.